Good morning. It's 9 o'clock. Who's here for 1 million cups? All right. Yes. All right. Go ahead and have a seat. There's some coffee and I believe donuts in the back. I'm going to pretend to be somebody who is possible to take a good photo of. And Jason has tried so hard for many, many years. But I'm going to run through this since I'm visiting back. Glad to be here in person. I've been working, but I'm very glad to be here in person. But I don't always remember how to do this.
It's probably because you're in charge now, so you
I'm
have
in
the
charge
ready.
now. So 1 million cups. What is 1 million cups? It's an opportunity from the Kaufman Foundation. It's in, I want to say, over 100 different locations around the country. But it's basically, how do we find opportunities to hear the stories, learn about other entrepreneurs, what the work they do, the reasons they do it, and help those businesses grow. And ideally, as part of that conversation, we learn a little bit more about how we can improve our own businesses. And maybe we make some connections and we eat good food. We go to places. Some people get drinks. It's amazing. Local and national missions. So you're laughing. Is it not amazing?
Just thinking, where are the drinks?
You know, there's a policy at 1 million cups that you are not allowed to serve alcohol. I have a policy that on a work day, I never drink alcohol before 10 a.m. And that's trying to.
In New York.
We will talk about this more at some other time, local and national mission. So Kaufman Foundation encourages entrepreneurship throughout the United States. We are the only location, I think, let's see. Yes, we're the only location here in New Mexico. We do have friends in Amarillo and El Paso. But if you're looking for 1 million cups in New Mexico, you found the right place. And of course, we're both local and we're online. How many online folks? You don't, yeah, don't switch screen. Okay.
I can't touch the screen.
Don't touch the screen. 7 online folks. That's fantastic. Pillars. There's a lot of pitch events. In fact, we'll talk a little bit about, is it Startup Fiesta or Startup Pitch tomorrow? Is it Startup Fiesta? All right, great. And there were sort of pitches yesterday at New Mexico Innovates, and there was ski lift pitch like a week and a half ago. So there's a lot of great places to go and hear pitches. What we try to do here is more of a presentation that tells the story of the individual entrepreneur, because we feel it's important to connect with those entrepreneurs and to learn a little bit more about, who they are, why they do what they do. And that helps us have, I think, a more valuable conversation. For the community, by the community, we're all volunteers that do this. We try to be as inclusive as possible, and we're always continuing to work on that. Let's see. What can our community do to help you? There's a lot of text on this page. I'm not gonna even try. Apply to present. It's relatively easy to apply to present. We are not always huge fans of our website, but in general, if you go to www.1millioncups, one being the digit, .com/Albuquerque. That'll bring you scroll down a little bit. That'll bring you to the right place to apply to present.
By the way, I made a bit.ly link.
Oh, it's fantastic.
That's a little bit easier.
I love it. Yeah, that's cool.
So you can use a bit.ly.
One MC ABQ. It'd take you maybe like 8-9 minutes. If you have questions about doing that, please go ahead and talk to one of these fine folks. So we got, Paul's right there. Tends to wear a black hat, but he's really a good guy. So regardless of what you think about, cowboy movies and all that kind of stuff, Paul's your guy. Lisa, our fearless leader, running Fat Pipe, Bioscience Center, 1 million cups, and 3 or 4 other really important things. They're saving the world. We've got me, S. I'm off, and now I'm at City of Santa Fe Office of Economic Development. We've got Adam. We're going to be hearing a lot more from Adam next week at 1 million cups. So we're going to hear a little bit more about his business and some pivots and some other things that he's looking at. So I'm really excited to hear that story, but also get the feedback from you all. We've got Sonia over here. Plot duckies, among other things. If you're looking for folks that can help you get published and get out there in the world, your story, she is the person. Cool. And Oscar, I haven't seen them in person in a little while because I haven't been here, but I'm so glad that they're part of the team. Because they just, for those of you who were here when, I'm talking way too much, but for those of you who were here when they spoke, I mean, it's just so engaging. And that's the thing that we try to do here, both as hosts and really as the audience as well. Some of our sponsors, some of this is probably a little bit cut off, but we're happy to be here for over 8 years here at That Pipe. Jason tries to make me look reasonably good, but he succeeds with so many other people that it's just amazing. Let's see, Foundation for Sustainable Living. We've got coffee. We've got November custom software. I believe there's donuts in the back. More than organized. Miriam, you're just, one of the stalwarts. I appreciate that. Yes. And Vive Solutions. Sometimes bringing the healthy stuff.
Tea and fruit. when
Tea and
they're
fruit.
here.
All right. I've talked far too long. I'm going to hand it off. Do we have somebody who's making the introductions today? Oh, I will hand this off to you just in case. And thanks so much for joining us here this morning.
So it's a pleasure to have an actual brick and mortar retail business, a toy store, Color Wheel Toys. So take it away, Keri.
All right, thank you so much. All right, good morning. My name is Keri Piehl and I own Color Wheel Toys here in Albuquerque. I'm 6 years into running my business and now it's time for a growth spurt. So this is our current location on 4th Street, a little bit north of Osuna. We've got the why, what, and how of Color Wheel Toys. Why? It was a way to translate my love for and knowledge about good toys and learning into a community business. I wanted to sell toys kids would like and that grown-ups would want their kids to have. I wanted to do that at fair prices in a creative environment and become a memorable part of the Albuquerque business landscape. So a very small goal there, but I think that I might be achieving it. How did I do this? I saved up with my husband to self-fund a seasonal retail business model. I built a customer base slowly year after year while I was testing the viability of the idea and my own capabilities as an entrepreneur. What is it? Color Wheel Toys is a full service permanent toy shop located along the developing 4th Street retail corridor that just got redone with like the brick sidewalks and the lights over it and stuff in Los Ranchos, if you guys are familiar with that. We feature community events. We support young entrepreneurs. We trade used toys for stored credit. We manage a play patio. We engage with nonprofits with donations and partnerships, and we sell a lot of toys. Why me? So Keri Piehl, why did I choose to do this? I was a babysitter extraordinaire and a crafts cabin counselor as a teenager, as well as a top selling Girl Scout cookies salesperson in 1988. I have enjoyed the big, not nationally, just for my troop, just to really put this in perspective. I have always enjoyed both the big picture part and the details of being in charge of a business or a program. I had my BA from UNM in anthropology, and then I ended up with doing an alternative licensure program, and I taught schools for several years. I taught preschool, 3rd grade, art, all different kinds of things after getting my teaching license. And I've watched thousands of kids play and interact with toys and tools and materials. I was the director of education at the Creative Reuse Center in Portland, Oregon. And that was there where I developed a lot of the basic skills that I needed to start and run a business. And so then I realized it was time to give it a go. Why Color Wheel Toys? At first, we appeared and disappeared like Brigadoon every year. So September through December. And we would set up, do an amazing job, and then disappear, pack up all the furniture, put it in a storage unit, and do it all again next year. If you can't sell toys in Q4, you can't sell toys. So this created like a special yearly destination in the Nob Hill neighborhood that people would return to. And then over time, this became really tiring. I built and dismantled the retail store 5 times, going actually 6, because I did the 6th time and I was like, this has to stop. I need to figure out how to do this full time. I think we were ready. During that time, the other toy stores in town closed and there were not a lot of other options for stuff. So I thought if this would be the time to do it. We've got nifty, hard to find, smart, interesting, nostalgic toys for people of all ages and appeal to people of different abilities. And so like we're kind of a destination for people looking to find something that's just right and interesting for their kids or for, I have a lot of people that shop there that aren't cheap. All right, so from birth to year 3, it was a self-funded seasonal operation. The first year wasn't profitable, but it wasn't scary. I was a manageable amount of, what kind of, not lost, but just, I had unsold toys, but that was okay because I was going to do it all again the next year. The next year was profitable and encouraging. And then after that, it was starting to become predictable. So this is how it operates. I'm the owner, the toy buyer, and the manager. I'm the head of social media. I'm the budgeter, the director of creativity. I do lead a staff of 5 excellent part-time employees. I do outsource bookkeeping and occasional physical maintenance that I can't do by myself. I try and do as much in-house as possible to save on overhead, and I like to focus on my budget on paying my employees competitively, because that's the squeeze, and that's the thing that I think it's the people that make most, a really excellent business environment. So from the 2020 pandemic and beyond, the community focus on shopping local plus my flexible seasonal model really helped us grow and also like avoid some stuff that was really hurting other businesses. We added online ordering and an online catalog that we use extensively. That was the push to do that, and that's been helpful. And then up until recently, that was locating and building out a permanent location in Los Ranchos. So what do we sell? Toys. So just imagine toys, and that's what we sell. We sell open-ended and creative toys, things that are retro and nostalgic, like Willy Willy and Slinky and Etch-a-Sketch, things like that. Arts and craft supplies of all different kinds. We have a small percent of gently used toys, but we're slowly increasing the percentage of that as we find people to buy it from. Our customers include grandparents, parents with school-age kids, indulgent aunts and uncles, teachers and other professionals that work with children, like occupational therapists and speech therapists, kids that have their tooth fairy money, adults reliving little bits of their own childhood, and occasionally nonprofits that are helping out kids. So we sell these things, but what we really sell is a unique retail experience that you can't find anywhere else, with lots of hands-on stuff to touch and try, and personalized service. People come back to us year after year. A lot of it's like people that I see once a year, it's a great uncle. He wants a toy for his nephew, and he wants me to help him figure out the right thing. And we work together and figure that out. And then, he doesn't need anything else, and he comes back next year and we do it all again. And so that kind of service is hard to find in a, larger environment. Not that the people that work at Target are bad, but they're not going to do that for you. They probably can't. So the current challenge, it's increasing foot traffic and getting new customers in the door. We've got a great customer base. I would say 50% of the people that I see at any time are people I've never seen before, but that needs to be a larger number, and it needs to happen more in order to keep this sort of thing sustainable. What's holding us back? A significant marketing budget and just a lack of knowledge there. That's just not my background, and I'm not 100% sure. I've been kind of blindly stumbling into some success with that, but I would like to do it in a more concerted, thoughtful way. How do we get the word out about a delightful local toy store on a slender budget? So innovative ideas are inexpensive, but they're complicated to bring to fruition. I am looking for low-cost, successful marketing tips. Oops, and I've never used this before in front of people, so I had a nifty thing, and there you go. So, and that's that. So let me know what I can do.
Hey, Keri, stay up front for us.
I
And
will.
we're going to have some questions. Anybody who'd like to ask a question can form online.
Line up here for in-person questions, and please let us know your name and what organization you with.
You didn't have a question too?
No.
Hello, Piehl with More Than Organized. I feel like this lends itself so much to video.
Okay.
Little reels and stories on Facebook, probably, maybe Instagram, and I'm not a fan of TikTok, so.
Right, I won't download that.
It seems like there's such a good story there, and you have little tidbits, and you can really feature like kids actually playing with a toy, or you demonstrating the toy if parents don't want their kids in the videos.
Right.
But that interactive element and the customized shopping aspect just lends itself to storytelling through video on social media.
I have used it a little bit, but I feel like I
You have to be
need to
consistent.
figure out how to also, yes, like do that more. I guess I think that totally makes a lot of sense. And I think you're spot on. It's just like, I'm not, I guess, sure how to take the next step in that. So
Yeah, we can talk more.
Excellent.
There's a way to map it out and make it easy.
sure. Okay, super.
Hello. Store and
Nice.
definitely want to check it out. Oh, sorry. So for cheap, no-cost marketing, do you have a newsletter that you send out?
Yes, we have a newsletter that has about 850
Oh,
subscribers.
great, yeah. That'd be
So,
great.
but yes, like that is always something to use consistently. And like, we try not to like send it too much because I hate getting like, you buy something once and you get like 17 emails, but we do use that.
Great. Well, that's my suggestion.
Oh, great, thanks.
And then just your Google Your Business page, so people can find you on that, and the photos you share in your newsletter, put them on the Google My Business page too.
Okay.
and stuff.
Sure.
Just
Yeah,
have-
if you do look up Toys Albuquerque, we are the first. No, but this is helpful because I feel like that's great and that's thoughtful and, I appreciate that. Yeah.
Validation.
Hi, I'm Brian Steiner of Noventum Custom Software. I have a suggestion and a question.
Sure.
The suggestion would be to consider writing a marketing plan that has measurable results so that you have a hypothesis and result.
That makes a lot of sense because I don't have that.
Marketing is one of the things where you can just dump money in and then you can measure these vanity metrics like
Right,
page
that's what I'm afraid of.
views or whatever. And
Right.
the marketing company's really happy to keep taking your money and increasing your page views, but not actually
Right,
convert to sales.
okay,
So I would write down, even if it's just an outline, just hypothesis,
no, that makes total sense. And I definitely, that's one of those things where like, this isn't, my business isn't my background and I just didn't do
Yeah.
anything to do that.
Yeah, marketing, it just can be a big waste of money.
That's what I was like always
Yeah.
too scared of, but if I would spend some money if I felt like I could do it in a way that was targeted and thoughtful. So-
Yeah, and at least if you measure, you'll know if it's not, right?
Right, and that's valuable feedback too, right? And just don't use that thing anymore.
Yeah,
So,
or change or whatever.
Right.
So that's my suggestion. And then the question, I used to have part-timers as well, and I converted, well, either forcibly or voluntarily, everyone to full-time, or let them go, maybe about 4 or 5 years ago.
Okay.
And just the level of commitment in my team
Mhm.
is a lot stronger. So is there a reason, like, is it financial or?
Financial,
Oh,
big
okay.
time. I work there mostly for sure. That's one of my biggest expenses, payroll.
Got it.
Also part of it is like, right, so during the holiday season, also it's flexible. So sometimes I
Yeah.
need a lot of people because it's super busy and then sometimes it's super slow and I can do it all by myself. And
Got you,
so,
got you.
but since they're part-time and either they're retired teachers or college students or something, they're not relying on that for their own income. And so the part-time, like that way they're not, it's not unfair to them, if that makes sense. And so
Yeah.
it's like, that's a good match for me, if that makes
Yeah,
sense.
yeah, and there are differences, right? A retail environment with, people that have a second career or just an additional source of income. is
Sure,
different than like finding a software engineer that's all they do.
right.
So
And the
that
main thing is
makes
that all
sense.
these people can communicate well with families and with kids. And so, and that's what they can all do. And so I can train them how to do everything else, but that's a harder skill set to train for. And so that's what I hired for. And so that's
Gotcha.
what they're good at.
Cool, well, thanks.
Yeah, of course. Thank you for well, there you go. To anybody that's like a business person's like, you should have a marketing plan. Yeah, all right. Write that down.
Good morning.
Good morning.
So you doing? I am, let's see, CEO of Women's Thriller Writers Association
Cool.
and of Pawtuckee's Publishing. And I did notice, was that a book? Do you carry children's books?
We do have a small selection of books. Yes.
I was wondering, so we might be able to partner on maybe an event. I do have, in my publishing company, I have one award-winning children's book and an award-winning young adult book.
Okay.
And what we could do is bring some books on consignment and do an event where the author is there.
Sure.
And so we can kind of combine forces on Facebook and with our.
That's awesome. I've done that with other authors in the past and it's been a success. So I would love to do that.
All right, cool.
Cool. Thank you. Terrific.
Hi,
Hello, good morning.
Dr. Jessica Troy, I'm an SEO copywriter.
Cool.
And my comment kind of goes along with what Sonia was saying. I follow a new bookstore.
Okay.
That just opened up here. It's a local.
Is it books on the basket?
It is.
I've been
Um,
watching them too.
So you probably have seen that their calendar.
Yes.
Right. And so my suggestion / question was, would you ever consider doing something like theme nights, theme days, where, you have a certain nostalgia night for the older kids, right? Like me, like I saw your fashion plates and
Right.
the other stuff on there. I was like, oh my God, I still love those. I get really fun about
No, that's,
nostalgic toys. So, if there's like, an adult night where you come, adults can come in and
Sure.
play with these old toys that we used to love. Or, the book signing with local or international or whatever book authors for kids, things like that. I was just thinking that was a really good idea for Books on the Basket. So
Right.
maybe
we are
do
starting
that.
to fill out a calendar. We do have like a workshop space where we can have things. The
Okay.
trick is just, part of it is limited to also figuring out how to build that. In fact, I went to Books on the Basket. I asked them who set up their events calendar because I liked it so much.
Right.
I connected with that person and I just haven't sat down to ask them how they're developing it yet, but they seemed really open to like being like, here's how I'm doing it. And then I'd be like, great, I want to do my, like own kind of thing like this, but they seemed very interested, like not protective, like it's my secret, because we're not their competitors, so it doesn't matter,
Well, and
but
there's
that's a
such a-
really great point.
There's just such a variety, you could even do like special needs toys and, like different themes and stuff like that.
It's just a matter, I think it's right now, it's just like the available brain space because I'm generally the person driving that, but I think you are 100% right. I'm just figuring out how to make like something that's easily repeatable or like how to do these things like consistently. And so right now we're having like maybe 4 or 5 events a month. I'd like to have more, but also being open late at night. We share the parking lot with Vernon Speakeasy.
Oh,
And so one of the, not the contingencies of my lease, but there's no parking at night. We're also not usually open at night. And so I could do evening events, but I'd have to figure out how to work around that just because people would have to park somewhere else, I think. You know what I mean? Just
Yeah.
because, or I guess I could do it on Monday or Tuesday nights when we're closed. Or, when Vernon's is closed or something, so I could figure it out. It would just be a little tricky, but not impossible. So that's a great point, and that's really great about.
I would
what some of
totally
us
come
do.
to the nostalgia.
Very
toy,
good.
so
Okay, super.
You have a customer if you do it.
Excellent. All right. Good morning.
I'm actually Eva Fain and I am a retired home care diabetes educator.
Mhm.
One of my family members is an occupational therapist
Uh-huh.
and she works out of the valley in a little office. And so I'm going to connect you with her.
Sure.
This is Sarah. And so I just need to kind of give you a heads up.
Yes.
We don't have a really good source of equipment for pediatric occupational therapists here. And so
A ton of them shop in my store.
thank you. That when I heard you say
You're
that,
exactly right,
so
yes.
you'll hear from her and it's Kara Blattman
Okay.
Rock.
Thank you.
And so, yeah, she's in the valley and she practices part-time. She
That's
teaches
wonderful.
yoga and does,
Yeah,
yeah, so she may have been in your store.
possibly, but that's awesome. But
thank you
connecting
for
with that
coming
group makes
today.
sense. Thank you.
I came because I thought I might find some toys to play with because
True. I
I
did
let
actually.
my inner child loose, but somebody.
I'm fortunate that you were all here, so I did bring fortune telling fish. So if everybody wants one on the way out, they're on the table. So
Did you hear
I
that?
did bring
Huh?
toys.
You have a line and I
Very
talked
good.
to
All right.
Rich, so I'm gonna get it.
I will say too, I am setting up an event with occupational therapists to have like a meet and greet and like a play and chat kind of thing later this month with an
Sounds fun.
occupational therapy group. So you were dead on that. Was smart.
So I'm Michael McDonald. So you said you wanted to grow, right? And I'm hearing all these, right?
Yeah, oh yeah, not like expand to another location, but yes, I just need more customers we're having a
Yeah.
really good setup. We just need more customers.
That's what I was curious about is like, what's the dimensions you want to grow on,
Yes,
right? Like, do you want to grow volume? Do you want to grow?
just sales volume. Yes.
But like, I mean, there's a lot of ways to grow sales volume but maybe there's ways that you're interested in, like you could go in and play with the toys. The uncle comes in and plays with the toys and then there's a mail way to get it, if they're nephews across the
You
country.
can do that, but that is prohibitively expensive and complicated for me, so I don't ship. I've looked into that, but it's not the return on that, especially for the price of what I'm selling is like a $20 toy is gonna cost like $18 to ship, so. yeah.
They're not retail streams
Right,
that
right.
you can get somebody else.
If there are other ones though, right, but that as an example, yes, but like, it could be other streams, or it could honestly just be getting like more people knowing that this exists, because I find that it's not hard to keep a customer once I find one, but a lot of people are like, I didn't know this was here, so it's like.
I totally, by the way, I mean, right by me. I love these little toy stores, just like everybody here.
Right.
And I love
This is
that.
helpful, I appreciate
It sounds like it is true that your direction is to kind of like concentrate more activity or sort of more compatible. I guess one of the things that I would say is to spend time, maybe you've got it already.
That's
Like
okay.
to think about like, what do I love and how do I love my store to be? Like, how do I want to grow? Like, do I want to have adults or
I just want to do more of what I'm doing, but
Okay.
more of it.
Oh.
I guess if that makes any sense, I don't know, but it's just like, I think we've got a really good situation happening. I just need to increase the amount of it that is occurring all of the time for it to be financially like
so it's
more sustainable.
so it's a scaling problem,
Yes,
not less necessarily an activities problem.
no, but I mean, I could have more events and
More
activities. There's nothing wrong with
You can
that.
scale, and
Right.
what's preventing your scaling?
Yeah, my personal ability to function. We had a garbage truck come 2 weeks ago on the weekend. I did $1,500 in 2 hours. And again, that's selling things that are $7, $8 a piece. That was awesome, but it's thinking of things to get people to do that also don't cost me a lot. So the garbage truck is free. you know, it was, but then like promoting it and like making sure, I also didn't spend any money on promoting it. I did all through free channels and stuff. Those things, but those bursts from the blue, like my brain can only squeeze one of those out like every like 12 hours. So, you know, or maybe less. So how do I find more of those things, I guess, if that's the tactic I'm going to take, or if there's a different tactic that isn't so like creatively and intellectually like complicated or waiting for that to, I don't know, you know what I'm saying? Like those are,
Might be a staffing mix. I mean, you have one intellectual person in your company.
well, other people think of great ideas. We have a whiteboard where they can put those ideas too, because I'm constantly, to implement it. Yes, yeah. I do feel like that's probably the bottleneck. You're absolutely right.
That might be the thought.
No, that is helpful.
We have a question online, so I'm gonna
Oh,
pause
great,
for just a
sure.
second. Todd, would you unmute yourself and ask your
looking at
question?
Todd out in the internet.
Hi, so yeah, my wife and I love to visit small toy stores, and it's good to have an option in town. They're great for visitors and everything else. One thing I was curious about, you mentioned that one of your biggest issues was cost in terms of the staffing cost. And another
Yes.
person had talked about the part-time versus full-time. And it sounds like there's big chunks of time where you're doing it solo and you're not staffing up because the traffic is low.
Right.
When you're looking at kind of the profitability of the business as an entity rather than for you as a person, are you recognizing your own salary for yourself that's somewhat based on full-time?
No, I have paid myself once. I wrote myself a check for like a one-time payout. I don't pay myself consistently.
Yeah, I would recommend, even if your cash flow doesn't quite allow it, that you do at least some shadow modeling on the side to identify how much that is. That'll give you the picture more of what your longer term target would be in terms of how much sales you would need to be to consider as an entity, right? Because if you don't have that cost in there, if you were paying somebody else to do that work, you would need to generate enough revenue and enough margin to cover.
Oh,
that
sure. It would have
cost.
gone under already. I know that. It's
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah. So and it's good that you recognize that, but if you can specify a more specific amount, it will help clarify your targets. And then if you've got
Okay.
more specific targets, that'll just help you kind of crystallize just how far you need to get on that goal.
Right. Because I'm not like looking for like infinity. It's just like, right. Yeah. Kind of looking
Yeah.
at maybe and having a target. Is shadow modeling just like kind of fake plugging in that number? Like, what if I paid myself every month? What would my budget look like?
Yeah, that's probably a good way to do it. I mean, just because you're not going to have enough capital at this point in time to say, because some businesses, some people say, pay yourself first, and then that makes you tighten the screws and everything else. You may be even too lean for that at this point in time.
Yeah,
You have some people say an absolute salary. You're probably too early for that, but at least if you have something that you can kind of take your basic financials and say, just add it up over time and say, here's what it would look like if I put that in there. Try not to let it scare you and just let it really kind of drag you towards this is how much you need. Because right now, like you said, you don't need it to be, I need to go to infinity and beyond. But at least, to at least get to the starting point, this is what it would need to be. And then if it goes beyond that, then you can figure out any additional scaling you need for staffing and everything like that, because then at least you've got that chunk in there rather than every bit of additional staffing feeling like it's extra. It would be replacing your time so you can focus on other things if you're starting to move that scale.
Okay, thank you.
Awesome.
Hello.
Hi. So I discovered your store in Lomas in Washington.
Oh my gosh, yes, it looked like jail. It had bars.
It does.
So we made the
That's
inside cute.
where my scooter shop is now.
Oh, wonderful. Okay, terrific.
And your toys are great. They're really wonderful. And so I liked it because it's like you say, a local store, but I really also liked it because, they're made of wood. They're, just a whole lot more crafty than the kinds of stuff that Whammo has a lot of money to push.
Right.
And you mentioned that if you can't sell toys at Christmas.
Right.
But on the other hand, I thought it was brilliant that you were popping up during that season because, everybody's buying gifts for the children, the grandchildren, the nephews, the nieces. And so there's this whole exponential thing that happens with toy buying around Christmas time that you're not seeing in the rest of the year.
Right. Which I knew that. I mean, I obviously didn't plan my financials based on Q4. So I didn't have a marketing plan, but I am at least smart enough. to do that.
So, birthdays are probably.
Oh, no, for sure. Yeah.
When everybody goes, do you have a birthday club?
I have thought about how to make that work. And so it's just like, it's basically at this point, I've looked at other toy stores because I follow tons of other small toy stores on Instagram to often get ideas and stuff. I have not set one up yet. And the reason I never had one before is because I couldn't operate a birthday club.
If you weren't around.
Yeah, so that would be weird and be like, oh, good luck, kids, like, see you in 8 months. And so, but you're right, I should have, that would totally be a helpful thing. I just feel like it's like a list of all the things and it always just keeps falling to the bottom, but I think a birthday club is a great idea.
Well, we've been accused of being advisorators and just giving people more work to do.
But it is, right, it is on my list and I have thought about how to make that work.
And have you heard of Dia de los Niños? Which is a Latin culture thing, which is literally, it's like.
Yes,
Mother's Day,
people
only
come
it's-
and buy it for their
Right.
siblings, I believe is what, or maybe that's a different, there's something that is a different one like that, but.
Oh, I think they spoil the kids extra hard.
Okay, yeah, okay, sure,
So
sure.
it's just, I'm just trying to think of is Easter, do you see a bump in Easter?
I don't know, because I've never been open during Easter, but I'm sure that watching other toy stores, the answer is yes, and so we're preparing.
All right, so anyway, I'm just trying to.
No, that's
identify
great,
what
like
those
other
different
times
things
of
are.
things, yes,
And
absolutely.
then that's when you should work backwards from, if Dia de los Niños, right?
Right.
Work backwards 2 weeks and do whatever you're gonna do.
Sure, like a special event to highlight it or whatever. yeah.
Anyway, yes, great store. We should all go visit it. And appreciate it.
Oh, thanks, I know it'd be convenient.
Oh, and that's another question.
Yeah.
So that's a great market, right? You got a lot of good upscale people living in Los Ranchos.
I moved because I moved and I didn't want to commute. And so if I could save myself an hour a day, I could have more time thinking of weird marketing events than I would have to be, in a car. And so that's truthfully, I didn't dislike Knob Hill or anything like that. It was just like, I moved because my house moved, right?
Me neither. That's why I wish you were.
I know. Yeah,
Thanks.
but then I got a feedback like that from a lot of people like, oh, you love Knob Hill. But then a ton of people, they're like, oh, I hated driving to Knob Hill. And so I'm so glad you're here. So you can't win them all. Oh, Lord.
I'm Wesley. I'm a PNC business bank manager, but I'm also a brand new business owner. I just opened up New Mexico Elite All-Star Sports, so Albuquerque's Mr. Trading Gym.
Very good.
So I have both a question and feedback. So start with the feedback. So one of the things I learned during the pandemic helping business customers was the business customers that were the most successful were the ones that had a team of people outside of their business. So some legally, some for their accounting,
Sure.
banking, but also an industry specialist. So do you have anyone in your industry that you work with that gives you this advice to help you brainstorm ideas?
Like a mentor or what are you talking about?
Yeah.
I do.
You do? Okay.
Her market was a little different than mine though, because Albuquerque is a lot lower SES than where she had her store. So some of her advice is not applicable, but at the same time, yes, I also belong to the Association of Small Toy Retailing, or American Small Toy Retail Association. Astra is the, professional organization for that. And I'm on committees and stuff for Astra and I can use them as like a sounding board or ideas or whatever, but is that the kind of thing you were looking?
Yeah, I was just
Okay.
wondering what you did there. And then the
Sure.
other thing you mentioned that you partner up with different organizations
Sure.
in the area. So how do you find these organizations that you partner up with, or what do you specifically try to target when you're looking for those?
A lot of times, some of it is, I would say like 60% of it is they're coming to me and they're just saying like, hey, a lot of times they're looking for a donation, but in exchange, there's like a marketing, benefit that comes with that. And so we're often able to do that. It's pretty easy. I get a lot of samples and that kind of thing from like the wholesale companies. And so that's what I save to make like auction baskets and things like that. So it doesn't end up really costing me anything, but it's goodwill and it's, helpful to them. And then sometimes I look for organizations or places that I think would make a good partner and ask if they would want to collaborate on XYZ or whatever. Or like 2 weeks ago, I had student interns from the Montessori Elementary and Middle School. And so they had just randomly cold called me to be like, do you want to take some interns? That wasn't necessarily a marketing thing, but it was a partnership that came out of that. And so I think as I am now operating year round and it's not just focusing on sales, I have time to kind of be more deliberate in that. And it's just a matter of like sitting down and. Okay, great. Thank you. And congrats on your new business.
Hey, I'm Jamie Spelso. I'm founder and CEO of a startup company in town, Memory Well. This is totally random, but when I was a little kid, I spent some time growing up in New York City and going to F.A. Schwartz
for birthday parties was like the bomb. It was like the best place to go for birthday parties on the planet. And everyone was like, I want my birthday at every sports. And you have an event space. and
It's
we-
really small and I hate throwing birthday parties. I did it in another job.
Oh.
I'm so sorry. It's a great idea, but I know that about myself and I can't do it. So it's like, that's a super good idea, but it's
So hire
not.
someone who's good at that.
The
Let them do it.
store is not something, I sell plush animals and I can't have them in proximity to cupcake frosting. You know what I mean? Like, because it's not a closed area, unfortunately, but I would love to think of how to incorporate some sort of birthday thing, because that makes tons of sense.
Okay.
But like, that's super smart and it makes sense. A lot of toy stores do it. So you were totally on the spot. It's just a personal thing with me right now, figuring out how to either have somebody else do it or how to make it physically not be in contact with the retail side of the store. So that's super smart. And I'm sure I'm leaving money on the table for that 100%. But good thinking.
Hi,
Hello.
Sandy Hirschberg, New Mexico Startup Alliance. So to piggyback on what Jay was saying.
Yeah.
So my kids went to a birthday party at the haircut place.
Okay.
So there's just like, they don't touch anything. They just get their hair done
That's fun.
in a corner.
Sure.
So there's no frosting, but you
Oh,
get
okay.
like 5 little girls getting their hair done.
Sure.
And playing dress up for a little bit. So it's like another version of a birthday party.
Do they have the rest of the party somewhere else?
No, that's it.
I think it would be, I don't know, do you think it'd be
I
a
mean-
hard sell if I told people they couldn't bring food? Because
No,
don't you
they
think
had
that's like
I mean, they had,
a crux part of a birthday?
yeah, I know, maybe they could do the food part outside if it's a nice day. Are you anywhere near a park or anything?
Yeah, no, not a park. There is outside space, but that would only make it so like half the year they can do it. I know, I've been
Half
on
the
the
year's okay.
fence about this because I
Yeah.
think it's super smart, but I can't figure out how to get around some of my like objections.
Yeah, I mean, so, yeah, I'm trying to think, they did not have like the birthday cake thing that I can recall, but it's
Okay.
just like,
That's totally
like a
fair.
mani-pedi day for little girls,
Sure.
you know, kind of thing. So it's like lower.
I have thought about just having something that was like, you could come rent the space for like X amount of dollars. And then like, I have something like, you know, low temp hot glue guns and a bunch of fun stuff to make something.
Legos.
If you wanted that to be part of your birthday party, you could have the kids do that. But then like you would either go home or to a park or whatever. But then also just any group could come do this and it wouldn't necessarily, we could say like, oh, this is great as part of a birthday party, but I didn't want to be like, we will host your party. That's the
Yeah.
thing that I can't handle.
More, yeah, low maintenance, low activity.
Yeah, so I think finding a way to like maybe having that as like a part of it is a good idea because like I said, I know that that would bring in money. I just can't figure out a way
Or
to
you
do
could
it.
just cross promote with another person who's looking to build their business.
Sure.
Like use my space, do their hair, you know, or something, and then.
Sure, I'm
You
super
don't-
open to that. I'm just trying to figure out how to like start looking for people that would also want to use the space for things. Because that, I mean, I haven't done it a ton, but to like say like, do you want to host your thing here?
Like a magician show.
Yeah, no,
Like,
definitely.
learn
That's a
the
great idea.
magician, and They come for an hour, they play with the toys, do the magician thing. and
Sure.
it could be For the food part somewhere else.
Right, yeah. So just trying to figure out how to do that without seeming like, have your birthday, but don't bring food, you know, like, I want to make sure how to market that in a way that doesn't seem mean and cranky.
I can make an introduction to a woman who has like both occupational therapy and hairstyling in their same location. And she's trying to promote her business. They do all kinds of things and maybe it's probably something.
She sounds interesting. Thank you. Hello.
I'm Carolyn. I own a small business called People and Planet Refill. It's a low weight store here in Albuquerque. And I know we talk a lot one-on-one and so I don't have to share my ideas here, but everyone seems to love this birthday idea. And I know this.
No, that's okay.
But I also know you're across the street from Los Ranchos Bakery and they're awesome. So could you partner with them to say, come do your activity here and then go have your cupcakes there?
I totally think that would make sense. They also have space and stuff, so I could figure that out and like, yes, I don't know why, like.
There you go.
All right. I
What is
love
my
it.
marketing plan? Yes, like that would be a way to like decakify the situation and save the stuffed animals and, you know,
Yeah, I think that's really important to know that cupcake frosting and fudge don't mix.
they don't.
Well, I think you've had a lot of great feedback
Absolutely.
here. And the question is what the future holds. Have you had your fortune told? May I see your palm?
Yes, I didn't know.
Have you ever had your palm read? It's red now.
Dun, dun, dun.
Oh, see it curl? They're only $1. You know, I have sold hundreds of these and the markup is better than pharma. These are about 3 cents each and you can sell them for $1. And once a person is taking it out of the pack and holding it, they feel really stupid putting it back and selling it to somebody else. No, that's how to quit everybody for $1.
Well, there you go. But you know what? I feel like I sell a ton of them. I'm gonna sell them.
Why not?
Because I feel like most people would not pay $1 for these.
Yeah, they would.
You'd be
I
surprised.
wouldn't know that you're only paying 3 cents. I probably paid
Yeah,
$100.
see, everyone here would pay $1, 2 cents, 300 of them.
But I 3 cents, so I wouldn't have brought it.
You go to
Yeah,
the dollar store, you pay $1.
Yeah.
Not for one.
Let's aim for the stars. Yeah, talk to Miriam about expanding.
Sure, it's also possible that like strategically raising certain prices is like helpful, but at the same time, I still need foot traffic in addition to doing that, but that could be.
But that's a little impulse buy on top of everything else. It was a joke.
No, that's fine. Like, no, very good.
Okay, so it is my responsibility, to ask you New Mexico's state question.
Yes.
Right or agree?
Christmas.
Christmas it is. And what can this community do for you?
I think they already put me on a path to thinking of things, making a few connections that I appreciate people mentioning, and just kind of like that push to making sure that I seemed like I had not leave most stones unturned, but some stones were turned. So I appreciate you turning the stones.
All right, and I'm sure somebody here has a birthday coming up, so
That's true.
they ought to think.
Happy birthday. Come on.
Thank you very much.
Take care. Thanks a lot.
Can we do events now? Eric, you've got events for us?
Hold on, step over here for a second. So let's see, tomorrow, there's a couple things that might be interesting. So there's a procurement summit. So I'm not sure if anyone's been to this before, but if you're trying to sell to any form of government or any of the larger enterprises that are around town, the Hispano Chamber has this almost full day event that takes place to get your act together in order to make those sales. Whether it's government, some large hospitals, University of New Mexico, those kinds of organizations. So great places to sell to. I'm not sure to the extent that they buy toys. That's my question. But to some extent, office supplies, aren't they those toys as well? I think to some of us. To some weird people. Let's see. I think Jeff is online. Maybe he can tell us a little bit more about Startup Fiesta, which is can we still get into Startup Fiesta tomorrow there, Jeff?
You can still get into Startup Fiesta. I was actually just checking to see how many tickets we'd sold, and we are getting a low, but there is still some there. So if you do want to attend Startup Fiesta, I'll drop in the chat here, but go to activatenm.com and then look for the events button there. To tell folks who haven't heard about it, we're going to have first a featured founder. We're going to hear 5 minutes from Brandon Garrett, who is the co-founder of Electric Playhouse. And then we are going to hear 15 micro pitches, 1 minute each from 15 local companies. Paul is one of them. So we'll look forward to seeing everybody there. It is free to attend, thanks to sponsorship from the city of Albuquerque. So really have no excuse. Come on down. It is at Chatter in Albuquerque downtown from 5 to 7 p.m. tomorrow.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Jeff. That's great. And I think you can still buy like drink tickets if you want, if you need to. Let's see, other things. Let's see. We've got this gentleman over here, and Jason, when is you've got your leadership series that's happening here, is that correct?
Yes, so March 3rd, Thursday, 3rd, on here in the seats, the workshop. Talking about self-awareness, talk about how we sabotage ourselves as leaders and the ways that we can on that in our forms of leadership. So whether you're a business leader, organization, nonprofits, great time to be with leaders and spend some time learning some of the content.
Excellent. March 23rd is the next edition of that. And last thing I was going to share is Advanced Manufacturing Summit from Manufacturing Extension Partnership. Basically, most day event on March 30th. Manufacturing needs a lot of different things. These days there's super small batch stuff, but there's also textiles. If you are interested in learning more about the different manufacturing capabilities we have around Albuquerque and New Mexico, and different ways to learn more and get involved and maybe access those kinds of resources, please think about attending. And that's the Advanced Manufacturing Summit on March 30th. Thank you.
Awesome. Paul, you're presenting at Startup Fiesta?
Yeah, 60 seconds.
Do
Anybody
you want
else
to
here
practice?
going to do a micro pitch? Come on up here. Come on up right
Let's
now.
do their practice.
You got to be able to do 60 seconds right now. You got to be able to do 60 seconds. If guys in ski masks woke you up at 3 a.m. and said pitch, you ought to be able to jump out of bed in your jammies and do it.
Show
Okay.
us how it's done. Paul.
All right, here we go. I'm Paul Sauter, founder and chief scientific officer of Equiseek. Equiseek is a biotechnology company that develops and sells genetic tests for horses. For horse buyers who want healthy horses, Equiseek's DNA test is a genetic screen that identifies horses at risk for a muscle wasting disease before they develop symptoms. And unlike muscle biopsy, Equiseek's DNA test is non-invasive. We just need a hair sample. The US market for Equiseek's DNA test is over $2 billion. Generatio, a company in Germany, has licensed Equiseek's patent pending test to serve the European market. Equiseek's research team has exciting results that I'd love to tell you about. Ask me about zebrafish. We're also looking for a CEO. If you have the skills and a sense of adventure, we're Equiseek. Join us. 50 seconds.
We're gonna time our friend here.
Sure. Go when you're ready. Go.
Do you love going to the car dealership?
No.
Do you know the people there by name and look forward to going and seeing them?
No.
If not, or if so, you're probably not my client. But if you're like most people and you think of car stuff as a chore, then a automotive concierge may be the right fit for you. My clients love the there we go. My clients love the peace of mind that comes from having an expert work for them. I have a friend who refers to me as the car fairy because he just leaves his key with the receptionist. His car's taken care of. Where are we at? His car's taken care of like magic. At Johnson Brothers Automotive, I provide a lifestyle of vehicle ownership that is easy, convenient, and stress-free.
Nice.
All right.
You got it.
4 seconds over. Just tighten it up a little
You
bit.
got it. Thank
You know, so when I was in ABQID, they taught us to have that little Post-it note, and every time you practice the pitch, you put a tick mark. And when you get to about 30, you know, with minor revisions in your text, you start to get good. About 40, 50, 60 times in, you find nuances in the language and in the gesture and intonation. So it's like playing the violin. You just got to practice until your fingers bleed, and then it'll sound natural, which it is not. It's a Japanese garden. It's naturalistic. Everything is constructed on purpose. That's key to doing a pitch. See you tomorrow, right? So if you want to do something to lift up entrepreneurship in New Mexico,
Wait, we have newbies in
go
the
to
audience.
Startup Fiesta tomorrow.
Oh, yeah.
All right.
Sorry, I thought.
And
you
we'll
were-
introduce newbies. Who
Sorry.
is at Million Cups for the first time here?
Come
Come on up and
You
introduce
need
yourself.
to
Give us about a
introduce
minute
yourself.
on who you are, what you do, and why you haven't presented at Million Cups yet.
Yes,
Awesome.
good morning. My name is Barry Bailey. I live in Whittier, California. I'm here visiting with my son and daughter-in-law. But I have been in business. I started when I was 10 years old, selling newspapers on a train station in Melbourne, Australia. And I found out, boy, this was easy money. Except at the end of the day, I had to give the money back to the company that I got the newspapers from. But I did get a lot of tips, and I've sold. I actually worked on a cruise ship, 2 or 3 of them from Vancouver, British Columbia to Alaska. I met my wife, who was a passenger of one of those cruise ships, and I met her, got married and moved to California. And so my son lives in Albuquerque. He has this delightful lady who is my daughter-in-law. And she said, come and visit with us today. So I have been in business in Melbourne, Australia, Vancouver, British Columbia, and Whittier, California.
We're so glad you came. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Hi there, guys. My name is Darren Palmer. This is Brian McGinnis. And we are the owners of Costa Cocktails. We are yes, we are. Nice to meet you, Lisa.
Nice.
Lisa invited us. We are a mobile bartending company. Here locally, we travel around the state, Southern Colorado, West Texas, Eastern Arizona, all that good stuff, basically any day and any day that ends in Y and you've got a reason to party, we'll be there. We also offer a line of cocktail kits that have all the tools and ingredients you need to make 3 different cocktails, 12 to 15 in total. You just pair them with your favorite spirits. We have them in vodka, rum, gin, tequila, and whiskey options. We are currently working to get those from the small scale of just direct to consumer, online and marketplaces and so forth onto store shelves. So we've been working to get all of our manufacturing processes approved and finalized, all the labels, everything boxes checked, and hopefully you'll see them on the store shelf very soon.
Miriam was asking just this morning why we didn't have a bar set up here.
I was
like-
gonna say, yeah, you called on the right day. So, let's talk and we'll figure out a way to.
And Stuart and I are talking about having a party, and I suggested that we invite you guys to do a cocktail. That would be a lot of fun. So thanks for
We'd
coming.
love to.
You need to sign up to present. We'd love to learn more.
Right.
Okay, we'll help you.
All right. Thanks, guys.
All right, so my name is Wesley Woods up here again. I with PNC Bank, I'm a business banking center development manager. So my goal is to go help businesses and get to know the community. But the good part about my position is it's now helping me with my new business. I'm taking over the current cheerleading gym I'm working for, who operates out of Colorado. They have 3 gyms up there and they were not interested in keeping New Mexico. So one of the things I wanted to do is tap into that New Mexico spirit. The one thing I know about New Mexicans is we love New Mexico. We love everything about it. So my cheerleading gym is called MM Elite, where we offer all-star cheerleading services. We offer tumbling along with just general sports education for gymnastics type sports, acrobatics, those kind of things. So the one thing that we love about our organization is we're not just teaching kids cheerleading, we're teaching kids life skills. We're teaching them accountability. We're teaching them leadership skills, because once you're an adult, you don't really get as many of those life lessons. So starting young, starting to show that responsibility at a young age is what's important to us. So.
Thank you. We need you to present as well.
Hi, my name's Carolyn. Up here again as well. I own People and Planet Refill. It's a small business, a low waste store here in Albuquerque, located in Piehl, where we sell personal care and cleaning supplies. You can come bring your own container and refill it with things like dish soap, laundry soap, or get other low waste alternatives like tools around your home. And we try and source as many things locally as possible, and from small businesses who are using better ingredients and better practices. I've been doing that. Well, I'm very interested in sustainability in general. I just started doing it because it's been a passion of mine for, I don't know, my whole life. And I haven't come here because, believe it or not, one of my least favorite things in the world is public speaking. And I was an environmental consultant previously, so I know I have learned this. I hate it, and that's part of why I stopped doing it. But yeah, this seems like a really great group.
Supportive, we're supportive. Thank you.
I'm not a newbie, but I have an ask. I have a form that I'm asking people I send it as a PDF. They have to send it out to their friends. They have to send it back to me. It's kind of a hassle. So I'm looking for someone who can help me do a fillable form, so that you could take the form, send it to a friend, they can fill it out and send it back to me without having to print it out, scan it back, and do all those steps. That is the worst. So if anybody knows how to do that, yes? Google Forms does that?
Yes.
Well, thank you.
Well, surprise.
Surprise. Hello, my name's Clark Bloom. I moved to Santa Fe about a year ago. Fifth generation San Franciscan, and moved here to be near 2 of our kids. We're in the Bay Area. I've been in high tech my whole career, and I'm looking to get back to the community and help mentor folks. I've worked for 4 startups that have all had outcomes. Spent 15 years at Oracle, where I ran about a 250-person sales organization, then went to a global company where I ran a global organization. So everything from small startups who need product market fit to large scale companies who need to know how to optimize. I'm here and met Stu with the opportunity to feel how I can get back and mentor folks who are starting new businesses. So pleased to meet all of you. Thank you.
Wendy, you're not new.
No, I'm not new, but I have an ask.
So I am seriously looking for a part-time job. If anyone knows, my expertise is in the technical writing and instructional design. If anyone knows of a remote technical writing or instructional design position, please let me know. And how about I wrap us up?
I was gonna suggest that.
All right. Yeah.
Oh,
Oh,
shit.
no.
That's not good. For the people on Zoom, she asked if anyone had a nanny.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
So Katie just messaged me. She said, I heard you're looking for a position. Someone's looking for a nanny. It was probably you.
Oh, that's
I was like,
funny.
no, that's not quite my thing, but. But see, and that's what I love about this audience, because we're all here to support each other. Please, if you love this audience, if you love coming here, bring a friend next time and let's grow this audience even more. If you know someone who owns a business, ask them to apply. We'd love to hear from them. And everybody have a great day.
Thanks, guys. Thanks, everybody. We'll see you next week.